And good morning to you. I'm meteorologist Todd Clausen alongside meteorologist Ashley Brown, having a little Facebook Live chat here about a pretty powerful storm system, Ashley, that's heading our way, really starting late tonight and into tomorrow.
Yeah, I know after the weekend you were thinking, oh, we're counting down to spring, the 70s. It's amazing. But once again, we'll talk about the chance of winter weather in the forecast. And this is just kind of an open discussion between Todd and I and you. You can ask questions at any time that you have about this next storm system and, of course, chime in.
Yeah, we're not here to scare you. We're just kind of here to inform you of what's going to happen. This is a pretty powerful storm system, as I mentioned, heading away. Now, powerful doesn't necessarily mean a ton of snow. It's going to have a lot of rain with it and also a lot of wind with it as well as it starts to crank up here after midnight.
Yeah, you know, as we monitor this system moving in, first of all, let's say there's carpe diem. Seize the day.
Yeah.
Enjoy today. Today is not the issue at all for us. The issue is tomorrow. We'll start out with just a little rain from the system, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, you're fine throughout today, and as Ashley's been talking all day long, it's our pick of the week here, 51 degrees. The rain arrives after midnight, so if you have any plans this evening, you're just fine. And then the rain's going to overspread the southern half of the state first and work its way north. As the rain comes in, the wind is going to be picking up as well. And wind is going to be a big issue with this system as it starts to move in, and we will all deal with the wind no matter where you are. We're looking at wind gusts anywhere from 30 to 40 miles per hour. And unlike a lot of our storms, actually, this year, that's been these clipper systems that have kind of been all snow, this one is going to involve a changeover from rain to snow, and when that happens, it's going to be key to snowfall totals.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty concerned about that changeover, and I'm looking at your questions. Marley, I may have butchered your name there. Marley, Marla, the snow that you're going to see that's moving into the area, you asked how much we're going to see. Well, right now, it looks like Indianapolis, right in that 1 to 3 inch range, and we'll continue to monitor this going forward because the track here is very key in the timing of the snow.
Yeah, this is a fickle storm system, and Ashley and I were just talking before we came on live with you. I was looking at the new model data and then shifting the track a little further to the west. What that means for you is warmer air, probably maybe a little more rain, but again, the track of this storm system, 50 miles rather, in any direction is going to have a big impact on the potential snowfall totals and whether we see mainly rain or mainly snow with this system. So as we go throughout the course of tomorrow morning, let's kind of lay it out for you. Morning commute, it's wet, it's windy. Noon hour, basically still dealing with quite a bit in the way of rainfall. It's in the afternoon hours, Ashley, that we'll start to see that change over. First in western locations, then it kind of works eastward as we go throughout the evening.
Yeah, and Samantha, you just asked a question. You're moving on Friday. Well, congratulations to your move. Will the weather affect your move? Not at all. Actually, this system is out of here by Friday, and I think we'll start melting things pretty well by the weekend. So this is a quick moving system.
You know, and that's the great thing about February. You can get snow, and then it warms up pretty quick, and typically it doesn't last very long. Behind Ashley, you can see the winter storm watch that's been posted for northwestern locations, and this is the area where I think we are going to see the heaviest of the snow, and that's because that's where the colder air is going to be in place first. No watches, no advisories for Indianapolis as of yet, and what's going to happen is the National Weather Service is going to break this down most likely into winter weather advisories and or winter storm warnings as we get into the day tomorrow. And that's the thing, Ashley, we're still about 24 hours away before we see any snow. Again, rain is going to be moving in first with this system.
Yeah, Lynette, you want to know if there's any change in the track. Could this change and bring you more snow? Absolutely, it could. You know, the largest snowfall this season, we only had 2.2 inches on February 14th. But this system, if we can go back to that last graphic, it's been sitting back to our, sits off to our west. It's actually bringing some rain into Texas. You notice the system around Dallas, and actually the southern portion of the system really has a severe component to it. But as it travels, I mean, if you look here, it has a long way to travel, right? It has to travel through parts of Missouri. It has to travel into Illinois, then Indiana. So yes, it could change a little bit, but right now it looks like we're on the warm side of this track. As a result, only 1 to 3 inches of snow. Now, if that changes and the colder air moves in sooner than expected, I'm not expecting the colder air to get here until after 5 p.m. on Wednesday. But Lynette, if that happens a little earlier, then yes, we could see a higher snowfall total. But right now, I'm very comfortable with that 1 to 3 inches, Todd.
Yeah, and once you start working your way to the northwest, if you have plans that take you up towards Chicago or north towards South Bend, that's where we're going to get into the real heavy snow. Let's kind of walk you through it. I hope you can see this on Facebook Live here. Here's the rain that's moving in as we get into the morning hours, 1 o'clock, and it's pretty heavy rainfall. We're probably looking at a half an inch to 1 inch of rain in spots before we even mention the change over to snow with this system. And so as we go throughout the course of the midday hour, it's not until 1 o'clock you notice the changeover starting to take place here in northwest Indiana. And as Ashley and I mentioned, that's when the colder air starts to work its way in. And this is delayed a little bit from the computer model runs in the morning hours. So we're looking at the potential for the changeover to be a little later. But eventually it will happen, and then we'll deal with snow showers off and on throughout Wednesday evening and all the way into Thursday. So your Thursday morning commute can be a little tricky as well.
Yeah, and actually that's just a question that Kelly asked. If you're just joining us on Facebook here, Facebook Live, we're actually just having a quick discussion about the snow. Maybe you have questions for our next weather event. And Kelly, you want to know, will school be delayed? Well, you know what? I think it's kind of tricky because when you're talking about snowfall that happens overnight into Thursday morning, sometimes we slicken up the roadways there. We have lowered visibility from these snow showers. So yes, I think it's possible to see some delays here with the system.
Yeah, and you know, it really depends too where you live. If you're on the eastern side of the state, Richmond, or down towards Shelbyville, you're going to see mainly rain with this event, so probably no school for you.
Right.
But yeah, as Ashley mentioned, certainly you get into some of these heavier snowfall totals up towards the north and west. That's where we certainly could see some school delays come Thursday morning, rather, on the backside of the system.
Yeah, and Kelly, you're asking that question about school delays as well. I want to talk to you about those school delays. You can always tune into RTV6 here. We have the school delays at the bottom of the screen every morning, so you want to tune in here on Thursday morning. And also, let's have a little discussion about this Snowcast app. It'll tell you how much snow you're going to see in your neighborhood. You can download it right now and, of course, find out right to your front door how much snow you're going to see in your area. So, of course, we have that going. So here are the snowfall totals for now. The areas in that 3 to 7 inch range, Lafayette, Crawfordsville, well, you're under a winter weather watch. So if you have any of our apps right now, you've already received that watch being sent into your phone, that winter weather watch. Most of us in this very low 1 to 3 inch range, and we've been here so far this season, right? We're used to this 1 to 3 inch quick moving snowfall totals, kind of like what we saw on Valentine's Day. So we're looking at about that range. The only issue I think we'll have here, though, is that the timing on Thursday morning will be a little tricky for your Thursday morning commute. We'll continue to take your questions here on Facebook Live.
Yeah, and Tammy's asking how much snow in Crawfordsville. Well, you're kind of right on the borderline of that 3 to 7, 1 to 3 inch range. Crawfordsville, you do have a winter storm watch that's out for you. And the thing with these bands, as we set them up here this morning, we talked about the track of the storm system being very important. This morning it was going through Cincinnati. And we may have to shift these bands one way or the other, as there's some indication that there could be a little bit of warmer air starting to work its way in. But the good news is we're still 24 hours away from talking about snow starting to accumulate. So Kevin will be with you here throughout the course of the evening hours. And, of course, tomorrow morning, Ashley and I will be with you starting at 4:30 a.m. So we still have some time to fine-tune these numbers. And this is a pretty dynamic storm system. That's going to first bring the rain and then the changeover. So the timing of the changeover is going to be key to determining the potential for the snowfall totals. And also we're going to be dealing with lots of wind as well with this system. And I think the wind is going to be a big issue. And one of the things we have to keep in mind is it's going to be very heavy and wet snow. It's not going to be that light, fluffy snow that's going to be blowing and drifting over the roadways. Once it's on the roads, it's going to be heavy and kind of hard to get rid of. Now, there will be some visibility issues with the wind when the snow is falling. But as the wind kicks up and we get this heavy snow on some of the branches and power lines across the area, it's not out of the question we could run into some issues with maybe some power outages across parts of the area, and that would probably be late Wednesday into early Thursday morning.
Right, so yes, so if you're just tuning in to Facebook Live with us, we're just having a quick conversation about the event that we'll see over the next really 24 to 48 hours. Today you're looking pretty good, but tomorrow you'll wake up to rain. So a wet morning commute and pretty windy for your Wednesday morning. I think rain throughout the day. It's not until after about 5 p.m. I think we start to transition in Indianapolis to the snow. Some areas will start to see the snow a little earlier. Not out of the question that we get a little sleet during that transition time, but overall to be impacted by 1 to 3 inches of snow. So not a major snow event for us, just kind of a messy commute for you for your Thursday morning commute as we're expecting the biggest impact from the system.
Yeah, and Ashley, Rick wants to know, is evening church on Wednesday going to be impacted?
You know what? I think so. It depends on what time your service is. I know a lot of Bible studies going around that time, around 7 p.m. I think you're going to be in that transition time where you may get a little sleet, so you may slicken up the roadways there. But if it's earlier at about 5, most of us, especially around central Indiana, that 465 loop at that point, still dealing with just rain.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It really depends with the system where you live. The last couple of snows we saw, it's been a pretty widespread 1 to 3, 2 to 4 inches. This is going to have a very, very fine line and a sharp sharp cutoff to the heavy snow to the northwest and kind of more of a nuisance snow here across parts of central Indiana. And then once you get towards the Richmond area, down towards Greensburg, I think you probably mix in quite a bit of sleet on the backside compared to snow. And as a result, there we are going to see snowfall totals. I think that'll be a lot less if you're in eastern portions of the state. So let's kind of reset for those of you just joining us here on Facebook Live. This is a chat with Ashley and I, and you at home or you at work watching this. Just give you an update on this pretty powerful storm system heading our way. That's going to arrive after midnight. It starts as all rain, a lot of wind for us, and then we kind of transition into the snow aspect as we get into the afternoon and evening hours tomorrow.
Yeah, I have a question about NDOT. Are they ready for this? I've already talked to DPW, NDOT, they're on top of this.
Yeah.
They know what we can expect. They even know the possibility of a little sleet, so they're prepared for anything. And I think we'll be just fine. It's 1 to 3 inches of snow. We deal with that a lot, of course, this season.
We've had that several times. The only difference is this is going to be pretty heavy snow, so you're out there shoveling, it's going to hurt the back a little bit more than the other snow you could just kind of brush off with a broom.
Yeah, so, all right, let's talk a little bit more about this system. All right, so if you have family members in the South, this system actually will bring a component of severe weather. Parts of Louisiana actually will get the possibility of some stronger storms, tornadoes possible, and that's the southern portion of that system. Now, we're actually going to deal with both rain and snow. No severe weather, but not out of the question on Wednesday that we get a few rumbles of thunder from this system. So as it slides in, remember, it slides in on Wednesday as just rain, and then gusty wind. After that, we start to transition, and Todd is kind of moving it up for me. Almost tripped over the boxes there. A little secret, top secret news. I'm so short that I stand on a box, and sometimes I fall over them. Don't laugh at me. All right, so rain. Rain will continue to slide through the area on Wednesday morning. We'll see mainly rain, some heavy downpours right around 1 p.m. Those scattered showers still sitting there, but what you'll notice here is the transition. The transition happening around Lafayette into Crawfordsville of that rain transitioning into light snow. I think it's more of a wintry mix, but that line, that rain-snow line, also important and very clear here, depicted on the map. You'll notice it sliding at around 4:30 p.m. past Crawfordsville into Indianapolis, mainly west, first around Speedway, and then into the 465 loop by about 6 p.m., and that's the time that we see the transition into snow. At first, I don't think it sticks, because, Todd, we have warm ground temperatures at first, and it's going to take a while to get that to really start to settle.
Yeah, today we're talking 51 degrees for our high temperature this afternoon with the sunshine. Asphalt retains more heat, so certainly the roadways are warm. And then we're going to get rain, so the roadways are going to be wet. And the way that we can compensate for that is we need heavy snow, and that's when we start to see it stick. And eventually we will get into some heavier snow, it looks like, especially in those northern and northwestern locations as we get into the afternoon hours tomorrow, and then eventually into the evening hours. But it's going to take a while for this snow to stick. I think first you'll see it sticking on the cars and also on the grassy surfaces, and then eventually on the roadways. But temperatures, as the storm system starts to pull away, will cool off pretty quickly. And that's when we'll be dealing with a lot of these snow showers that'll linger all the way into Thursday morning. So, again, here's our thinking as far as snowfall totals. A lot of you have been coming to us asking about some snow in your neighborhood. Bloomington, Indianapolis, Muncie, over towards Greenfield, Fishers, Carmel, Tipton, over into portions of the Rockville area. Probably looking at about 1 to 3 inches of snow. And then, Ashley, as you work your way northwest, that's when we get into some of the heavier snowfall.
Yes, I just had a question about Kokomo. How much snow will you see there? Well, you're in the higher totals here. I think there's possibility for you to easily see, I think you're in the 2 to 4 inch range with this system because, of course, the northwest quadrant of the state, because of where you are, you transition a little quicker to snow. As a result, your totals could be a little higher with the colder air that's in place. So 2 to 4 is probably a good bet for about Kokomo. But as you get over into Lafayette, I think the totals are even higher there as the system slides through. Remember, we all start out as rain, and then the transition really happens on Wednesday afternoon for most of us, but a little earlier if you're around Lafayette. I think your transition may happen late afternoon, early evening hours. So most of us will see rain Wednesday, snow on Thursday, and then we're done on Friday. We actually dry out and warm things up. The weekend, here's the good news. The weekend looks amazing. So when we're done with this, we're going to get very excited about a weekend warm-up.
Yeah, we all got spoiled last weekend with the record high on Saturday. Here we're talking about some rain, snow, and a lot of winds. We're all going to deal with the wind to kind of recap before we start to close things out here. Everybody's going to be dealing with wind in this system no matter where you are. We're talking about wind gusts from 30 to 40 miles per hour. As far as the precipitation type, everybody starts as rain. We're all seeing rain as we go throughout the morning commute tomorrow, as we get into the afternoon hours. That's when we're going to start to see the transition from the rain over to snow. And the wind will still be an issue, and the storm system's still down towards Dallas. What was issued this morning is this winter storm watch that's in effect for counties off towards the north and west. This will be broken down by the National Weather Service, most likely late tonight or early tomorrow morning. So make sure you check in with Ashley and I tomorrow morning. We'll have the latest. It's most likely going to be a winter weather advisory and winter storm warnings, depending how the National Weather Service breaks that down. But Ashley, kind of walk us through TrueCast one last time before we close out, so we know exactly what to expect. And again, this starts as all rain for us.
Yeah, a rain event, warmer air in place, so dealing with just rain on Wednesday, and we'll cycle through with rain, heavier downpours, a possibility of rumbles of thunder here, and then we start to see the transition, mainly in the northwest quadrant of the state. Lafayette, you're first to see that transition. Now, when the transition first happens, I think the ground temperatures are a little too warm for this to stick, but eventually the possibility of this becoming a little sleet, so yes, a little ice possible on those roadways, and then transitioning it into all snow. And Teresa, you asked the question, is this the last snowfall of the season? Ha 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 ha. We wish. Last year we actually had over 5 inches on March 1st.
Yeah,
so it's possible to still see snow.
Yeah, the good news is it doesn't last very long, and we've been talking about by Saturday, any snow that falls will be gone. Tomorrow morning for your evening commute, that's when the changeover is taking place. The best advice is the earlier you can maybe get out of work if possible, the better, because once the sun sets, Ashley was talking about the temperatures being above freezing. Once the sun sets, we'll see the snow really start to stick, I think. And then as we go throughout the course of Thursday, we're dealing with snow showers, maybe a little additional accumulation, but visibility with some of these intense snow squalls could be a little bit of an issue. So again, to recap, 1 to 3 inches for a good portion of the area, less off to the east, more to the north. The higher numbers you see here, so the 3 and the 7, that's the further north you get in those individual bands as far as the snowfall potential.
Yeah, and remember, we're tracking a storm system that's actually sitting down in Dallas right now, bringing rain. So it has a long way to go before it gets here. We need all the factors to come into place. We're pretty comfortable at this point. We're giving you that 1 to 3 inch total.
Yeah, no matter if we see rain and or snow, it's going to be a high impact storm for us, as we're all going to be dealing with winds. It's going to impact your morning commute with rain and then potentially the snow in the evening hours. So we're going to sign off here. Of course, join us on the news at noon, and then Kevin Gregory will have your latest updates this evening. Make sure you check in with him. Be safe and stay prepared.
Yeah, see you next time.